Welcome back to Foundational Health Solutions, everybody. I'm Dr. Stuart Hoover, and as always, I'm here with the inimitable Eric Marquette. Eric, you ready to dive into a little electricity for the body today?
Absolutely, Stuart. Though I'll admit, when you first told me about pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, I was picturing something out of, I don't know, a sci-fi flick. But it's decidedly less dramatic, and a lot more interesting. So for folks who are brand new to PEMF, can you break down what exactly it is and why pulsed matters so much?
Oh, I love this question. So PEMF stands for Pulsed Electromagnetic Field Therapy. And what makes it unique compared to continuous electromagnetic field therapies is that pulsing the energy, rather than bathing tissues in a constant field, actually creates more profound biological effects. According to Brett Wade's review in the American Journal of Health Research, a lot of the real action happens in what we call non-excitable cells. These are the cells that aren't firing off electrical impulses, but they're still doing a ton of the heavy lifting in tissue repair, inflammation reduction, all that foundational stuff.
Right, so it's not just about ramping everything up. It's giving cells a little nudge in a sense. What struck me reading Wade's review was that the evidence really points to this increased cellular activity, especially tissue healing, that comes with the pulse rather than just saturating tissues with continuous energy. There's something about that rhythm that helps the biology along, yeah?
Exactly. It's the rhythm, the on-off cycle that seems to signal cells to repair, regenerate, and even reduce inflammation. The field's reputation lagged for a while because people didn't really get how it worked, but now there's a lot more clarity and clinical rationale for using pulsate versus continuous fields. And something like the Resona Health Vibe device builds on all this. These are targeted pulses at specific frequencies designed to sync with your body's own electrical systems.
And for people listening, this isn't just lab theory. There's real-world studies as well as user experiences. The Vibe is approved as a general wellness device. And while it's not a cure-all, I've seen testimonials where it genuinely helped with pain, inflammation, even sleep and focus.
Oh, for sure. And I'll share a quick anecdote here. Had a client, let's call her Janine, who was dealing with chronic knee pain for years. She wasn't keen on injections, surgery was off the table, but we started her on Vibe sessions. Within a week, literally just a few minutes daily, she was reporting real relief. We're seeing more and more like this. Reductions in pain, inflammation, improved recovery. It's not magic, it's just solid science at the cellular level.
It's pretty wild to think about, helping the body do its own heavy lifting. And we've talked in previous episodes about modalities like hydrogen, water and magnesium, but PEMF is almost a way to tune the system from a different angle. And actually, Stuart, this brings us really naturally to another core pillar, gut health. We touched on this a lot back in episode 5, but that conversation gave me a whole new appreciation for just how central the gut is to, well, basically everything. And now we're seeing products like Microbiome Live Probiotic taking things a step further, right?
Absolutely. Gut health isn't some fringe science these days, it's foundational. The gut has its own little ecosystem, trillions of bacteria influencing digestion, immunity, even your mood. And Microbiome, that one's interesting because it's not just a probiotic, it's a 3-in-1 blend incorporating prebiotics, probiotics, and postbiotics. You get the live beneficial cultures, the food those bacteria thrive on, and then the metabolic byproducts, stuff like short-chain fatty acids and enzymes that really drive broader health impacts.
I used to be super skeptical about probiotics. I tried a handful of brands and felt no difference. But with Microbiome, the first thing I noticed, this is months ago now, was less bloating and just, a bit more regularity. Sorry, probably too much detail for a podcast.
Hey, if you're not willing to talk about digestion, you're listening to the wrong show. But you're spot on. And what's really cool about Microbiome is the synergy at play. Having those prebiotics from 18 fermented herbs boosts the diversity of the gut bacteria. Think of it as planting a whole garden, not just one crop. The postbiotics, that's cutting-edge stuff. the metabolic goodies that strengthen your gut lining, reduce inflammation, keep energy up. Clinical feedback and testimonials have been hugely positive. Less reflux, more energy, better immune responses, the list keeps growing.
I read a few stories in the reviews. That woman Christina, who kicked chronic heartburn. Or Jodie, regular for the first time in my life, she says. Little transformations. Those to me speak louder than a lot of glossy marketing.
And it's not just individuals. You look at expert endorsements. Gastrodocs, naturopaths, health researchers, they highlight that Florabiome's combination with its diversity of microstrains and the comprehensive support from postbiotics is closer to what our guts evolved with. That diversity is what protects you from bloating, gas, even immune challenges. We're seeing a shift from probiotic as a buzzword to something much more comprehensive and restorative.
And because I know folks are wondering, you really can feel a difference, but it needs consistency. Kind of like going to the gym, right? The reviews suggest it's a journey, something you feel in stages. First week, your gut's adjusting. After a month, energy and regularity are different. And by 3 to 6 months, people report real shifts in resilience and overall well-being.
Absolutely, and that's what foundational health is all about. Long-term, not quick fixes, whether it's for acid reflux, bloat, or just that feeling of sluggishness. Restoring gut function changes the game. And I mean, nearly 1,000 reviews, people who've been at their wits' end are finally getting some relief. That's always rewarding as a clinician. So, Eric, here's where things get really fascinating for people chasing foundational health. What happens when you blend these two modalities? PEMF for cellular balance and comprehensive gut support for microbial and metabolic balance.
I think that's where a lot of health programs fall short, treating the body in fragments instead of as this interconnected network. If PEMF helps tissue healing and supports cellular processes throughout the body, and Florabiome is rebuilding the gut ecosystem and metabolism, there's potentially some really strong synergy in targeting both.
You nailed it. The potential is huge. We don't have all the studies yet, but we do have plenty of feedback from users of the Vibe and Florabiome, and it points to multidimensional wellness, better energy, less inflammation, more resilience against stress. I have to wonder, does cellular healing from PEMF create an environment where the gut can restore itself better? Or could a healthy, balanced gut, by tamping down systemic inflammation, make PEMF even more effective on the cellular level? It's early days for research in this combined approach, but the hypothesis is compelling.
Yeah, I love that we can acknowledge a bit of uncertainty here. There are some brilliant user stories, folks tracking progress, personalizing protocols for both devices, reporting things like improved mood, less pain, even sleeping better. But it's clear there's room for real scientific exploration. It is exciting that you have taken the time to create a foundational health protocol that integrates both, called Vibe Your Body. I just love the sound of that, and who doesn't want good vibes?
Hey, I'm right there with you. For those interested in incorporating this approach in their health plan, we have a program called Vibe Your Body that provides access and more information on the PEMF device and products we discussed on today's show. We provide guidance on how to develop a routine that fits your needs. Remember to always track how you feel, tweak the timing, listen to your body, and check out our community experiences, whether it's those Vibe users regaining mobility or Florabiome fans raving about their renewed energy. Trust but verify, and always be willing to adapt as you go.
And don't forget, everyone, none of this replaces personalized medical advice, so work with your healthcare provider. But the possibilities as part of a foundational health strategy are exciting, and we'll be watching closely as more research comes out.
I think that's a perfect place to wrap for today. Eric, always a pleasure to dig into the science with you, and to everyone listening, thank you for joining us. Remember, foundational health is a journey, and we're here to bring the best evidence and stories each week.
Cheers, Stuart. Always enlightening. To everyone out there, please visit vibeyourbody.com to learn more about Dr. Hoover's targeted program. Stay curious, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time on Foundational Health Solutions.